Welcome back to the Jagged Edge. Javal, how are you this Victory Monday?
A little different setup, but a victory Monday is a victory Monday, so we always take that. The Jags are 3-2, so if you would have told me after the Texans game that we would beat the Bills, I would have said like, you know what, this actually is a very Jags thing to do. I would have not believed you, but because it would have been the Jags, it actually makes sense. So the Jags are uh, continue to mystify us all, but hey, baby, we've had a 2-0 run trip. Life is good across the pond. And when we get back next game, it's going to be the 3-2 Jags, Trevor Lawrence and the 3-2 Jags versus Gardner Minshew and the 3-2.
Hey man,
I'm
it's
sorry.
yeah,
AFC South is so
it is something. I mean, Texans had all the momentum, but they couldn't beat the Falcons after we kind of pummeled them in London. Well, I'm gonna just say we pummeled them. And then the Titans, yeah, they lost to said Colts, who are now 2-3, and the Colts are now 3-2. But a lot of positivity coming out of Indianapolis after they actually did pay Jonathan Taylor, which kind of shocked the majority of the NFL world. And I guess it shocked a lot of Colts fans too.
I
But
think it
we'll
was just
start.
hilarious that they paid Jonathan Taylor and then Zach Moss immediately has the best game of his career against like a Titans front that to that point did not allow a 100-yard rusher in like some stretch. Because I remember last games, including the Titans last year,
Mhm.
ETN was averaging like 3 yards a carry, dude. I don't know how Zach Moss averaged like 7 yards versus the Titans, but like once again, AFC South games are just stupid.
Yeah, very unpredictable indeed. But we'll kind of save that for later because we do got a football game to talk about. How was your Jaguar Bills experience Sunday morning?
I'm a little bit of. First of all, I hate the fact that it was on NFL Network only because like the first game was on ESPN, like so I was able to just watch it like pull up the stream on ESPN Plus and Hulu. But this game was on NFL Network when there's no NFL Network app, so yeah, it was not great. And then I heard just Rich Eisen, part-time Bills fan, I guess. So a lot of people were not happy about Rich Eisen and his commentating. I didn't even really get to see too much of the game. I was following along as it was happening, but I'm just glad that there's no more international games that I have to watch on NFL Network, which unfortunately next week is Ravens Titans, and I want to watch that game. I mean, girlfriend's a Ravens fan, and I obviously want to see the Titans lose, so I'm not looking forward to NFL Network and its shenanigans. But sometimes I feel like the Jags play better when I don't watch because I remember last year I wasn't able to see the Chargers week 3 game and we ended up shellacking them. So sometimes I'm just a problem. And I
No,
admit
you're
that.
not a problem at all. I just remember it's just this I am weird because I have watched Premier League for the past decade now, so I'm used to watching games start at 7:30 a.m., 10 a.m., 12:30 p.m. So I'm just having another 9:30 game 2 weeks in a row. It's kind of great. And especially since they won, hey, I got to celebrate the entire way with NFL Red Zone. So you can't really complain at all with the way the day set up. But the game itself, since he did miss a lot, I did watch the entire way. It should have been better than 25-20, which is the funny part about it. It could have been so much worse for Buffalo, but props to them. They really kept it close for the entire way.
Obviously, they have the two fumbles that were in the red zone. One, near the I think I forgot when both were, but I know one was close to the end of the second half. You could have at least had a field goal. It
Yeah.
would have been 28-20, and then just it was just nothing about the Jags makes sense because, obviously the Bills, I think, weren't at full strength just in terms of injuries and Londonified. But this is still the most talented team that they've faced. And they've played a not complete game on offense. And somehow we're still dominating for the most part. Like that just, if you would have said that sentence,
Yeah.
like the Jags would have had, like Trevor Lawrence lost 2 fumbles and the Jags shot themselves in the foot again, and then they were still able to beat the most talented team they faced. You would have been so confused. But
Hmm.
hey, man, it's the NFL. So I'll take it.
Yeah,
Wins
everything
aren't easy to come by.
Yeah, and everything kind of clicked on offense besides those two turnovers in Bills territory. First downs, Jaguars 29, Bills 18. Third downs, Jaguars 10 of 18, Bills 5 of 12. Total yards, Jaguars 474, Bills 388. Jaguars got 275 or 278 on the in the air. Bills 359, but the big one, the rushing yards, Jaguars 196, Buffalo 29. It was basically the game plan that you would have imagined to have Jacksonville win that game. Stop the Bills running, get them, force them to third and medium, third and long. I even said it last week, kind of, where Jaguars just kind of thrive on against those quarterbacks that are get out of the pocket to try to make a play. Early on in that game, Josh Allen, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. He just couldn't convert those situations where he tried to break out of structure and make a play. There was always a Andre Cisco or Darius Williams or Rayshawn Jenkins making plays. It's crazy how we held another very good quarterback to a pretty, you know, manageable game. Jaguars were also on the field 38 minutes compared to the Bills 22. So that's just winning football right there. Winning football.
I think it was like a 30-minute stretch where like neither team scored, and for a
Mm-hmm.
good bit it was I think it was like 11-7 or like 18 to
Yeah.
7
Oh,
there here and there. 11-7 for like
yeah.
a lot. And then I think the most important thing was that outside of the fumbles, they weren't able to shoot themselves in the foot. They didn't make too many mistakes, but that even though Josh Allen, I think he played like a solid game. Definitely could have played a little better. I know on the Diggs touchdown with deep on, if he throws that in stride, that's probably a touchdown, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
different game. But he didn't make that throw, so
Mm-hmm.
defense was able to tighten up. Um, and just the one time, obviously the one thing Josh Allen is like, can you get that mistake? Shout out Darius Williams because he wasn't having a great game up until that point, but one on one versus Stephon Diggs, and it was a bit of an underthrow by Allen to be fair, but just being able to not only fight for the ball so that Diggs could not catch it, hold on to the ball as well. It's not even just like incompletion, but he just like intercepted it. Like that's huge. That was probably one of the most impressive plays I've seen by a cornerback, just in terms of like fighting for the ball, and
Mm-hmm.
probably since like Ramsey versus AB and when the end zone that one time. So shout out Darius Williams. I think he
Yeah,
loves
man.
London because TK. I guess he's like London time to get interceptions.
And
So
guess who got that forced fumble the last play on defense for the Jaguars? It was Darius too. It's crazy. He had a phenomenal 2 game stretch, and they, probably don't have to go up against receivers that don't really scare you because you
don't
already
don't
faced the
say that.
ones.
Don't say that. Don't say that. I still have PTSD from that kidney strain.
I mean, but still, it's theoretically you should, take care of
As
business at
as long
home.
as you could tackle screenplays,
Yeah,
But
but still, it's like does if you stop Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor, does Gardner Minshew really scare you as much as Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes did earlier in the season?
we'll get to that later.
I mean,
Uh,
okay, I guess I am confident because we're coming off of 2 wins now, but they still haven't won in Jacksonville. And then they have, well, yeah, we'll get to that later. You're right, you're right. We still have a game to talk about. We have to
that's a
talk
whole nother
about the
can of worms.
Yeah, so we have to talk about Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley. Finally, finally. It took 20 million injuries to the Bills every other play, it felt like in London yesterday. But hey, they finally had the game where it just seemed to finally click. We were talking about it for the first 4 weeks. When will it be? What a time to have it against your toughest opponent, yet.
Just saying, the games in that Ridley has been featured the most on offense.
Mm-hmm.
This on offense has put up the most points. Now, I'm not saying the two are correlated, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm just putting it out there. So,
Yeah, but it wasn't. So I know
it
you
wasn't
didn't watch
just
the game.
Ridley.
Yeah, but the ball was not forced to Ridley. Trevor was taking what the defense gave him, whether it was ETN on checkdowns, whether it was Evan Ingram or Christian Kirk over the middle. There are plays where there was multiple different receivers. Zay Jones, when he was on the field and didn't get hurt, he got his target shares too.
Touchdown.
Oh yeah, that first touchdown, it was just like, all right, okay, we got some juice again. 7-0 lead or 8-0 lead because they hit Trevor Lawrence too
Yeah,
during
the
that
roughing
play.
the which I mean, I didn't love that roughing the passer call, but considering that Josh Allen got a sack away taken from roughing the passer call, I
Hmm.
guess it's just the
Yeah, refs
NFL.
were
It's
just
like if
shambolic.
you breathe on the quarterback, then yes, you will. So, but no, I mean, I really think in terms of what you're saying, them being able to spread the ball, even against the Colts, I mean, it was
Hmm.
pretty. It was pretty. I mean, obviously there were some plays I think it was a little forced to Ridley that it still worked out because he was so good, anyways. But I think in the Colts game, there's still like a good balance. I think Zay had like 5 catches, like 50 yards and touchdown. Evan had like a couple catches. It was really just Kirk who was quiet.
Hmm.
So, Kirk had a much more involved game. I think he had like 6 catches for 78 yards, or he had a pretty
He
good
still had
game.
a good chunk. It was like 6 of 88. I had him in fantasy one of my leagues, so like six for 88. But still, he got open. He had a big 30-yard play, I believe, and hey, it all works out.
Obviously, I think the best player on offense, ETN, who, despite the running room for him being worse, I think he's still a much better running back than he was last year
Hmm.
because his vision's getting a little better and his contact balance is really impressive. And just once he gets to that edge, that you can just tell. Like I remember I got back to the fourth quarter when the offense finally started to, like that's when the touchdown started happening. And then on that ETN touchdown run, like as soon as it was him versus safety like in space, I just knew like it was going the distance. And that's the most impressive thing, I think, is for me. Even last year when he broke off some big runs, a few of them weren't touchdowns, which,
Hmm.
was just kind of bad luck. So this year, he's not even getting like 70-yard runs, but he's, getting like 20, 30-yard runs and taking those up to the house, showing impressive contact balance. Just great game by ETN, who faced himself in fantasy football, which is absolutely hilarious.
Hmm.
Um, so I felt like if they lost anything in fantasy football, then he would have been like extra pissed. But
Yeah.
because they won and he had a good game, he's like, you know what? I'm so good that damn, it's like
Hey man, team first, team first, team first,
team first guy. But obviously the big thing with the O line was Cam coming back, Walker playing at guard, and then now Walker is hurt. So we're still waiting on his status. Please, hopefully he can stay healthy because I mean,
The
I
line
don't
was
want
so
to.
much better, yeah, when Walker got in there. I mean, just having both Walker and or just someone like kind of competent there at left guard was nice. But it still held up for the most part whenever Cam didn't get blown up by Epinesa during, the course of the game.
Just remember 2020 draft. I thought AJ Panessa was a better prospect than the edge
You and me both,
redrafted.
man. I was the biggest AJ Epinesa guy. You remember this. You're both big AJ Epinesa
I
guy.
was like, wow, like they should draft Epinesa instead of this edge rusher. But hey,
And we're not going to
what
talk
do we
about him
know?
yet. Nope, no pressures. Like he was legit the only pass rusher I think to get to play with to get a pressure yesterday. Everyone, Trayvon Walker had more pressures. He had four
Trayvon had
pressures from.
4, by the way, which
Yeah, he.
obviously, obviously, I don't want to be pressure
Mhm.
like like pressure heavy guys, but hey, I mean, I think Trayvon's. I don't know how much he had last year, but I think
Mhm.
if I saw it was like 30 or 40 or something, like probably like 35.
Mhm.
So I think he has like 12. I have to check. I need to get on my
Yeah.
PFF stats, but
Yeah, but
um,
the Aiden Hunters and Troopers will say he has like double that, and he also had a sick interception yesterday. So if you're in that the whole Trayvon versus Aiden, Aiden has definitely been a lot better since the beginning of the
I
season.
still believe
Unfortunately.
once we put Trevon at once we actually get another edge rusher and put Trevon on 3 tech, then
Hmm.
we'll see. Hopefully, you can watch some Jalen Carter film. But
Yeah. That's for
my
another day. We
I
can't
guess
really, yeah.
the one question I did want to ask is I didn't really see too much of how the defense was playing, and obviously they played very well, up until because even the last like one of the drives, the Josh Allen sack on 3rd and 1, that
Hmm.
was a flag that definitely helped the Bills a lot. So just I guess was it just a matter of Josh Allen, the quarterback, being a little bit off?
No, I
Was the D
just
line just taking pressures, or just
yeah.
obviously the secondary played well, but like just curious, was it just a Mike Caldwell? Like, what causes Mike Caldwell masterclass?
Because we stopped the run early and we forced him to for third and longs and third and mediums, and that just helps. You think you have a bona fide stud corner in Tyson Campbell. It's just whether Darius Williams, who has been playing phenomenal the entire season two, taking out wide receiver two. Trey Herndon, we questioned at the beginning of the year, but hey, he's made some plays this season too. Rayshawn Jenkins, Andre Cisco in the back. We think Cisco is one of the best free safeties in this league. And Rayshawn, after like having maybe the one nightmare game against the Texans, been solid at strong safety too. Linebackers as well. You didn't hear too much about Alua Khan and Muma yesterday because I guess they did their job against the tight ends. The tight ends didn't produce anything yesterday as well. Just everything's clicking with the Jaguars. James Cook had like negative rushing yards yesterday, so they shut him down.
He was averaging 6 yards a carry.
Yeah, and we held him to negative rushing yards. This Jaguar front, even if we don't have Smoot and we don't have Devon Hamilton, who I think is our best interior guy, we're still finding ways to stop the run and forcing teams for third and medium, third and long situations.
5 carries for -4 yards, dude. I
Yeah, man. It's just this front. I've been telling you, it's like we stop the run, we force them to third and longs, and hey, somebody can make a play or someone can just bat the ball down. Crazy.
I really think that if Caldwell is coaching like this, he's are going to be our DC for like 2 years tops.
Yeah,
Because
no, someone will look at the Jaguars defense with like it's not even a bunch of high end talent. They just found guys. I mean, shout out to Dave or not Dave, to Dave Caldwell. No, hell no. A shout out to Urban and Balky for like getting guys in the mid rounds. It was that 2021 draft that really set us up the long way with having Tyson and
even
Cisco
beyond
back
Trevor,
there.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
So
you could say something about like, Devin Lloyd and Chad Muma, but hey, they find, I
his
mean,
20 22 is we're still to be determined. There's kind
yeah,
of there's still some red flags. We'll see. I mean,
but
at
they found
least
in free agent signings, they got kind of leaders back there in Ray Sean. They got, Alua Khan, who got the captain ever since he got here. Roy, another captain now. So they just been balling out, man. They just been balling. I think legit they just thrive against guys who love getting out of structure. And Josh Allen's one of those guys who struggled again until the fourth quarter when, he had some just long shots. He just threw the ball down the field and they were somewhat open for whatever reason. But hey, they had one before the Darius Williams interception too, where they just found one down the middle. He's feeling himself, did it again, like that 50-50 ball. Tremendous play from Darius Williams to recover for Josh Allen under throwing the ball. It's just, I was when I saw that go deep, I'm like, and then we recovered fantastically and snagged it. And Jaguars had one play like that too on offense where Trevor had Evan Ingram down the field, but the
yeah,
Bills
I heard that
DB had, a
Evan like a
tremendous
little
recovery speed.
underthrow.
Yeah. Just like a tremendous recovery speed for whoever deflected that
It
away
was
from
Dane
Ingram.
Jackson. So I guess going back to the Caldwell thing, I remember a lot of people when the Bengals were, just getting good. Obviously, the people were talking about the offense, but with the Bengals defense, it was like a lot of guys who didn't have a ton of big name talent, but they
Mm-hmm.
were still getting the job done, especially because the Bengals are doing great versus the Chiefs. And, their D coordinator, Lou Anarumo, people were saying that he was able to do more with less and, just get guys who necessarily weren't high in name talent to be able to play better. Because the thing with defense is really the sum of its parts. So it's
Mm-hmm.
obviously if one player isn't playing great, then you can be exposed. But also if everybody's playing and knows what to do at the right time,
Mm-hmm.
can make up for a player. So I think Mike Caldwell's done a really. I mean, if you would have asked which coordinator is doing better, I think everybody would say Mike Caldwell.
Yeah.
So, but at least but I don't think it was necessarily like a bad press game. I mean, maybe Doug is just calling the plays, but people weren't calling for Press's head to be chopped off. So it's improvement.
Because you want to know
Um,
why? They finally pushed the ball down the field. The one thing that we complained about early on, it felt like every screenplay or like quick pass in the second half was batted down the line by AJ Epinesa. So when they were forced in those third and long situations, Trevor just found a way to just convert those third and fourth downs. Yesterday, it's a wild, man.
yeah, Ridley
Wild.
on third down was like 53 yards and a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think hopefully they can just, learn to realize that, hey, we have not even necessarily like ball winners, but just with Ridley, he just has such a balance of explosion and speed and route running that maybe we should throw down outside the numbers. And even with Zay, and Ingram, and just Trevor's so good at that. So hopefully, we can learn because I think my biggest fear is that the Jags. I mean, I know it's gonna happen. They're gonna, try to be like a balanced team, but just, try to do too much stuff in the middle, like the cute stuff. Because I remember even the Falcons passing chart, Trevor was just I didn't want to say a check down merchant, but outside of the broken, like the touchdown to Ridley and the broken pass to Hasty, there really wasn't trying to throw, not even necessarily like deep, but just intermediate outside the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what we saw versus Ridley with Ridley was what we saw versus the Colts week 1, where it's like we're able to attack the sidelines a little bit more, not even for 30-yard gains, but just like 10 to 15, like just throw beyond the sticks outside the numbers. And then from there, you can try to create big plays after the catch as well. So I think hopefully that's an area the Jazz continue to improving is just being able to, not even being able to, because they can do it. Like Trevor Lawrence is good at football and they actually have receivers now. Like when Ridley's on his game and even Zay and Ingram, like, and Kirk, we'll see if they put an outside every now and then, even like gets fades, but they have the guys to attack that area of the field. It's just a matter of do they want to? Because even with pressure in his face, I was seeing Trevor was throwing some dimes, man. Like
I mean, that slot fade. I mean, I think we've all watched it at least 20 times. I cannot believe the
that was a
pressure in
good
his
time.
face, got it out quickly, recognizing cover zero, and just putting it on a bucket
He
for
said that
Calvin
you
Ridley.
have a safety on zero. Oh, that's cookies. Oh
Hmm.
man, I saw like the Orlovsky breakdown where Trevor checked out the line and just obviously we won, but I just imagine if Ridley was able to stay in bounds and then take that pass, I would have been like a 70-yarder, and then everyone would have been talking about that throw like
I mean,
national,
we
like that would
are,
have been like
yeah,
that would have been a crazy highlight. But even just that throw alone,
yeah, yeah.
and just
That's the play of the game right there. That's the one that's like, all right, we're here now. This is the one. This is the
I'd say,
reason.
yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
that and the ETN touchdown are
Hmm.
like the plays where I'm like, okay, this is, that's where as an offense we can just be explosive. Like we have a running back who can can go crazy, and then we also have a wide receiver, not even just really, but we have multiple receivers who can win explosive passes down the field. So hopefully we see more of that in the future.
Hmm.
So, but that was one of the few plays. Like the fourth quarter, I was able to go home. So I just remember like I saw the fourth quarter, like I saw that slot fade, and I was like, "This is sex."
Yeah, I mean, that was. I think I tweeted out I'm gonna have nasty thoughts to that throw. That was just a beautiful throw. Just
I still do. He
you're
gonna
not
make me
wrong, man.
act up. He gonna make me do something different.
I know that was the SZA. If you like white women, that was the Sydney Sweeney. You know the Megan, whatever your favorite singer, actor, model is. That was that throw compared to like your favorite woman of choice. Just pick your poison. That was
That's why you bring in Wrigley for that. Like not
yeah.
even just that one throw, but all those third and longs, like third downs in general that they had to convert on. That is why you bring in a guy like Ridley, and we'll see that that's just a different area of the offense. So another reason. It's just funny that even when the offense is like playing well, Trevor Lawrence has 5 touchdowns in 5 games. He's gonna have like a 48-yard passing 17 to like three interception year. Everyone's gonna be like, wow, this is killer. That'd be so Jags if Trevor has the best year statistically outside of touchdowns, that actually would be so Jags. But I mean, he got to 25 last year. So, once they start to get hot again, we'll see how that number rises.
Yeah, I mean, they were feeling themselves. It's just a lot of mistakes. I mean, they even admitted it again after the game. Just not a clean football game again. They could have had more. We basically spotted them at least 7 points because of those two turnovers inside Bills territory. So we should have won by double digits, but it just wasn't meant to be
That's
again.
the craziest
Yeah.
thing about it is like, I think definitely it's a lot cleaner game than the Colts
Mhm.
week one. Like there wasn't the touchdown. I don't know if you want to talk
But we
about
still didn't win by double digits. It just was a much more dominant game. We just didn't have the win or the point differential to kind of back that up. Because
I'm
if
just
you watch that
waiting.
game, the whole, yeah, I think I know as a bit of an early prediction, that's gonna happen this Sunday. It's gonna finally happen against a team that we always beat at home. I don't want to say it out loud, but hey, whenever it happens, it'll happen. I just feel like it's coming. It's coming. We're gonna have that game. I keep saying it every week
I
though,
need
so
a
who knows?
Trevor three. No, I fuck. I need a four touchdown game. Like
Yeah,
just to stat
combined.
pad a little
Yeah,
bit.
like passing and running. Just no matter how you get it, you want two rushing touchdowns, two passing touchdowns, fine, but you got to get it somehow, Trev. You need that big
I
game.
know Hill's gonna have a big game, but
Yeah.
I mean we'll see. I guess is there anything else you want to talk from the Bills game before we move on to
Yeah, we need to
previewing?
talk about the Colts because that's legit the biggest turning. That's gonna be the biggest turning point of the season. No, I think we said it all. Passing game, great. Defense, phenomenal. Shout out to Doug or Press Taylor for finally listening to us when it comes to pushing the ball down the field. I know it took a shit ton of injuries from Buffalo to kind of, feel like shit. We got Khalil Elam on
Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley.
You
Just
when
try to
When you draft a Florida defensive back, I mean, what do you really expect?
but other than that, it's just, we're all buzzing still. But we'll take that, throw in the trash. We're on to Indianapolis.
I'm sorry. Literally,
Gardner Minshew. Yeah.
as
Yeah.
I was watching that. Well, first of all, I think I'm sorry, Anthony Richardson. It's because I traded for you in fantasy. That's why you injured your shoulder.
Oh shit.
I kid you not. Because in one league my quarterback was Daniel Pennies because I hate him, and then I traded. It wasn't even like I lost players. So I traded.
How'd you
Um,
trade someone that got hurt for someone who
No,
also
I
got
didn't trade Daniel Jones, but
oh.
it was somebody else had Richardson on the bench. It's like, okay, I'll trade for Anthony on your backup QB. So I
Mm-hmm.
traded Miles Sanders and like Josh Palmer for Jameer Gibbs and Richardson. I'm like, okay, I wasn't even like hyped. Like I like Gibbs. Like, okay, yes, just give me a quarterback who can get me 15 points, and then he just goes out and injures his shoulder in the second half. So that was great. So yeah, this is gonna be the funniest. Like
It's
my
Minshew
one
versus
thing
Lawrence. Yeah.
with the Jags is I feel like I don't know if the cold streak. I feel like if the cold streak breaks, like for them, then will we actually be a good team? Like
Mm-hmm.
that because like we've been such a bad team over this Colts winning streak at home.
Mm-hmm.
Just
But
wondering
we
like is it
found a
actually
way. Yeah, we just found a
that's
way.
what scares me
Yeah.
now. It's like because like it would be actually kind of Jags for us to be good and then we always dominate the Colts on the road, and it's like a stupid game. I have PTSD from the Texans, man. I
Yeah, we haven't won a home game this season. I mean, technically we did have a home win
we
against the
didn't win
Bucs. We
in
haven't won in
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville yet, so I know they're probably coming. They probably when they come into the meeting room tomorrow, they're like, "Hey, we won those two games in London, but we need to get one back for the fans here in Jacksonville." That's probably first thing they're
Because
saying is like, "We gotta get one for the people here in Jacksonville.
I
We
feel
can't come
like
back from that."
in
Yeah.
my soul,
Mm-hmm.
because it's an AFC South game, we're either going to blow them out by 24 points and then Trevor has this great game, or Gardner Minshew has like the game winning drive and everyone's just like, this is so stupid. Like, there's no
Yeah.
in between. Am I wrong for thinking
No, you're
this?
not. You're not wrong at all. But if the defense plays the way they is and the offense keeps it clean like it has been the last 2 weeks, guess what? We're winning that game by double digits.
I
It's
just,
it's
I
it,
just,
yeah.
I just realized it's not even just it's the double G revenge game, Gardner and Gus revenge game.
But
Oh
guess
my
what?
lord.
That I think Dilla tweeted it out. If Gus Bradley wins, or just yeah,
If
if the
Doug
Doug Peterson
Peterson
wins this game,
wins, he will have more
he
wins.
surpasses already
Gus
Gus
Bradley,
Bradley. Well,
which I mean,
they love playing against that defense. So hey, they love
yeah, I mean
playing
the
against Gus
offense,
Bradley defense.
the lowest points the offense has scored versus Gus in the has Gus's defense has been 24. So we'll see. I mean, it's just so stupid because like we played them week one, like we're completely different teams, but that's the NFL for you. You know, it's like
Hmm.
I mean, obviously, I think Richardson did play pretty good, all things considered, and we'll see Minshew. Like we know what Minshew is and what Minshew isn't.
Hmm.
So, like, if this was literally just a random, like if this was, I don't know, like another team that wasn't our division, like if it was the same caliber of talent,
Hmm.
I'd be like, yeah, I just like feel pretty good. But because it's a divisional team, even though the Colts haven't won in Jacksonville since the Obama administration, even though that's the thing, I'm just like, I don't
It's
know, man.
yeah, you
Now that
know,
I'm
it's
good, I'm worried about just beating the Colts, which is a statement I never think I'd say.
no, I'm telling you, Austin, right now, not to worry because if the defense just shows up on Sunday, stopping the run, and it's like curtains, you just play cover two, you let Gardner not get out of the way, or you can let him get out of the pockets. We have dogs on defense in that secondary, so just stop the run. You're winning that football game. Anthony Richardson was more of a problem because he couldn't make plays with his legs. Gardner can't really do that as much, at least running the football, but you just got to, you just gotta stay within your assignments on defense, and you're going to win that football game because I am confident the offense can get points against the Gus Bradley defense.
Yeah, I mean, as like I want to say, as long as dumb things don't happen. But I've watched the Jags long
Yeah,
enough to know that dumb things will, as long as too many dumb things don't happen.
yeah.
I mean, I think just like I think Trevor's just consistently playing well. So as long as the O line, I mean, we'll see if Cam like does a second week back home. Um, so we'll just see as long as the offensive line can be good enough. I know for a fact that I trust the receivers well to win most times. So, we'll see. And I guess in terms of Mike Caldwell, the defense, versus Sykin, the Colts, I mean, from what I saw of Minshew in like the Colts game versus the Ravens, which I ended up watching, and then this last week Colts game versus the Titans. I
Hmm.
mean, with Minshew, he always has been he definitely tries to make things happen out of structure when he needs to. He'll see him
Hmm.
scramble for a little bit. I mean, obviously it's not Richardson out the pocket. So it really just depends on like how much do you want him out the pocket and able to create, and how much you want to keep him in there.
Hmm.
Because obviously I think, he's willing to scramble. He just, doesn't have the arm strength to like, really let
Push the
it to
ball down the
punish you
field. Yeah.
every single like he can make plays like, the intermediate is what I'm really worried about. We'll see,
But
if he
Josh
tries to
Allen really didn't do anything intermediate too. So, going from Allen to Mitch, it just I hate I'm confident because it's like, bro, we just held
hope
Josh
is the
Allen to
most dangerous thing a sports fan can have, John.
that's
You
true.
should
And we're Jaguar fans too, so fair enough, fair play. But it's just
I
like,
mean, one of us has to be the pessimist, one of us has to be the optimist because there's too
yeah,
much optimism on
it's
the
funny too
show.
because my family was so pissed off too after that loss against the Texans. Like, bro, they're just gonna win both games in London despite us. And guess who was right? It was me. We won both games in London because they wanted to spite us. If we're coming back against the team we always beat here in
Because we
Jacksonville.
should be.
Yeah.
If we were 4-1, oh my
We
fucking
could be
gosh,
even
bro.
5-0 because we also fucked ourselves up against Kansas City too.
That,
That's the thing though. We had the opportunities to win both those games.
but
It's
I mean,
crazy.
it is nice that we look
Yeah.
just in terms of where we were last year, because obviously the Jags are started out 2-2 last year
And then
and
they
then
went on a
lost
four
five.
game split. Four games. It was a 4 or 5 game
It
skid.
was four, yeah, because they were
Yeah.
2-5.
That they were
2-6. I don't even know. They lost a lot.
yeah.
I remember like after the Eagles game last year, game four, it's like, okay, we're 2-2. Okay,
But
we can make some
yeah.
noise. And then we just flopped. So
Against
now
the
this year,
Texans. Yeah. We're like,
now that we have my more high expectations, we'll see. But 3-2 as of right now. There's about 3 games left for the bye week. So it's
mm-hmm.
Indy
Yeah, we're not in
At
Jacksonville.
New Orleans. At New Orleans. We're hard for that game. And
Well,
then
yeah, we won't talk about New Orleans yet. We'll make sure that let's hope we're 4-2 before we talk to each other again.
I'm just thinking like in terms of like this stretch
Mhm.
run, like these next 3 games before the bye.
You
You're
could
4-2.
realistically, yeah, yeah, five, yeah,
Just try to get in above 500. I don't want to say they're gonna go 7-2.
6-2 before the bye,
Just
yeah.
be above 500 just over this next stretch.
And you
That's
know what
all
the
I ask,
crazy thing is?
Jazz.
I know I was talking about it to my brother earlier. That game after the bye week against San Francisco, who looked like an absolute unit, by the way, against the Cowboys. So the Cowboys aren't a bad team because they have weapons, but
Why do I?
when that Niners game, it's funny, the Sunday night football game for that week, when we play San Francisco at home, is the Jets and the Raiders. There's no way they're keeping that
Oh
game.
my!
There's no way they're keeping that game Sunday night,
They
and they can play up to seven Sunday or primetime games on. I think the Niners have already 5 or 6 scheduled, so they could move our game to prime time that week. Because I would rather see the Niners against Trevor Lawrence rather than the Jets and the Raiders Sunday night. Uh, you know, I have a feeling we're gonna be in the spotlight one way or another that game. There's no way they're keeping that game 1 o'clock. The Jaguars, if they keep rolling, we could realistically be 6-2 heading to the bye week, and just Trevor Lawrence against the best defense he'll face all season. And then, the Jaguars defense against the best offense will probably face the rest of the way. But that's way, way, way too into the future to think about. We got to just worry about Indianapolis.
We'll
But
see, man. It's crazy you say that because I unironically feel better about the Niners than I do about the Colts game. I'm not
just
joking.
because just because of expectations, like, hey, this is the team you always beat. They're coming.
This is a
Yeah.
team that we always beat. That's
But it just
also
doesn't help. They have a former one of our quarterbacks, and we always kind
like
of,
the Minshew aspect. You
yeah,
know so badly, like just the
yeah.
kind of guy that Minshew is. I don't think he even hates Trevor, but you
Mhm.
know so badly that he wants to just beat Trevor and just get a win. Like I
He
know
wants to be
that's
the one to end the streak. That's the thing. He wants to be the one to do it. But you should in the NFL. I want my
I
spot. Yeah,
I feel like the thing with Minshew, he might just play this game like it's his last. I feel like because like all the personnel, he's just going to play like it's the Super Bowl, like life on the line, dude. I feel like we're just gonna see like that's why I feel either like really good or really bad because
No,
it's
that's
he's
the
gonna
thing
play
though.
like the
Yeah.
Josh Allen. Like people talk about Josh Allen for like the reason you love him or hate him is because he plays every game like it's the last down, like 4th and 5 Super Bowl. I feel like Minshew's gonna try to do that, but like times 1,000.
Yeah, but I feel like that goes out to our favor too, because it's just like, well, you want to be that guy to end that streak. Guess what? There's a reason why this streak is a thing in Jacksonville. I mean, like I said, you got to contain Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss more than I feel like you have to contain Gardner Minshew. So, like I said, stop. I've been saying it so many times. Stop the run. You're gonna win the game. You do
Very
you.
funny, very funny too that like week one it was Anthony Richardson, and then they didn't have Moss or Jonathan Taylor, and now that they have both of those guys, Richardson is out, and it's only week 6, which is a hilarious stat by the
I
way.
mean, but it's terrible because I think Anthony Richardson will be that guy, but he just got to stay healthy. It's just.
Yeah, I do feel unfortunate that like
Mhm.
even though for someone in my division, I'm like I feel kind of bad because it's like it's literally Andrew Luck all over again.
Yeah, but it's
I
not
don't think
even
the
it's not
Colts.
even it's not even the Colts O line fault. It's just the way that Anthony Richardson plays. It's not really, a I wouldn't say sustainable, but it's not ideal for a quarterback to take as many hits as he does because he tries to get out of that pocket and make plays with his legs too.
So I don't know, man. Well, hopefully, Richard can stay healthy. But just now that like the tables are flipped, like you're saying,
Hmm.
they really have to focus on stopping the run game. We'll see how the Colts O line does because, like I was saying earlier, like the Titans defensive line didn't allow a 100-yard rusher in. I need to pull up the exact streak, but it was like a good streak.
Hmm.
And the Colts just like dominated them on the ground, which I thought was surprising because I think the Colts O line for a while was overrated, and then now people are like, okay, it's not that good anymore. And then they started to play together. So it was just really surprising. And that to me is going to be the battle of the game: is the Colts O line versus the Jags D line. Being able to like who's going to win the rushing battle.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Both sides of the ball too, because Jacksonville can also run the football now too. That Cam Robinson's back, so time of possession will matter, like always. Like if it's the same time of possession as it was for Jacksonville, and so we're winning by fucking 20 plus. So, because you're not as intimidated by the Colts defense than the Bills defense because they've always had dogs over there. Even with especially their front seven, isn't as intimidating as the Bills. So, home divisional game, team you always beat at home. It just seems like a recipe for everything again to just go right.
I mean,
It's
yeah, like
Monday.
I feel like flip a coin.
Mhm.
Heads, the Jags are blowing them out. Tails, it's going to be a stupid dogfight where Mitch has a career game. That's just how I see. I don't know. That's just how I see it. Like either the Jags just like win comfortably, which they should,
Like they
or we
did
play the
last year, like
Steelers.
27-0 type of
It was
game.
20, yeah, 24 to nothing.
Last year. Yeah, it was like 24-27. You're right. But it's like,
So
they just and Colts fans are already like shitting this. Was like, well, I think they replied to I think
it's
Gina
funny.
was it? Yeah. I was like, nah, just we're already counting this as a loss. We're
It's
we're
yeah, it's
on
funny. I think yeah, the fact that Colts fans are counting this as a loss is
already.
why I'm worried.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But
It's like when we talked to Hunter with the Texans.
oh
We
yeah,
knew it was
pretty
either gonna
much.
be one of those. Like, well, it's either gonna be blood or just one of those stupid games where everything goes wrong for Jacksonville. And we're not gonna. I don't think they ever want that to ever happen again. They were sick to their stomachs against
I
Houston, and they came back with 2 wins in London.
I mean, yeah, I mean, hopeful if that team just oh, if, honestly, if I'm Doug, like before every
Mhm.
Sunday, I would just play the Texans game film and just
Look at
get them
that. Look.
feeling humiliated. Like this is what you can do. You don't prepare. Like I'd just be my motivational tactic. I don't think the Broncos can do that. It hasn't really worked out for them,
Hmm.
despite losing by 50. But if I was Doug, I would just
Like,
every game, like just before half, like
just be like, it's like, hey, you
just
know,
show them the fullback
yeah.
touchdown on repeat. And just be like, just don't do that. Or I have a random trivia.
Oh, random
Because I
trivia.
earlier
Love
I
that.
was talking how the Titans, the defense, they had a 20 game streak of not allowing a 100-yard rusher.
Hmm.
Um, guess who is second and by how many games of not allowing a 100-yard rusher in the NFL?
Is it us?
No,
Oh, it's not us.
I
This
could
is a
give
good
you
question.
I could give you a little bit of a hint,
Yeah,
but
go
it
for
would
it. It would kind of give it
um
away. Yeah, I can't think of any other team to stop the run.
we talked about this team earlier.
We talked about him earlier. San Francisco.
32 games. The Titans are at 20.
Oh my God. They really had a 32 game. Well, that front
It's
seven is just nasty though. That's totally understandable. Like, oh my goodness. Like Bosa, they had like Armstead before he would move. Like they just had dogs. Fred Warner in the middle. Like just a bunch of dogs there in San Francisco. But we don't worry about that. They're a month away. We're talking about this Sunday, Indianapolis.
yeah,
Um,
we're talking about the ex 49er, DeForest Buckner. See
mhm.
what I did there?
Yeah, there you go. But he dominated us this time. Our last game, it's gonna probably be the same front seven. I lost Shatley at left guard instead of Ben Barch or whoever's
I
there at
mean,
left
yeah, we'll see
guard.
if
Yeah,
Walker plays.
we don't know anything
Oh,
about the MCL before until tomorrow or Wednesday, so we'll see what they think and what they tell us in the media.
yeah. Hopefully Walker plays because that to me is like just the Jags couldn't really convert on short yardage, have been good all season. And
Hmm.
then just the pressure, especially on like, the fumble touchdown that we talked about. So, I mean, we'll see how the offensive line does. I guess just going back to that week one game, like even thinking back about it, outside of the one fluke, like outside of the screen pass touchdown, like that was another Caldwell masterclass. So we'll see if he
Yeah,
goes 2 for 2, completes the sweep.
especially since
Then
it's at home. They'll probably want, like I said, they want to get that home win for us. They already know they want to badly. Just make it right. You go for him too before the Thursday night game. Hey, that's all we really ask for. It doesn't matter how you do it. If you dominate, fantastic. Like I've been trying to say, if you can just squeak
just
it out, you know,
4-2 Jags is all we're
4-2.
asking.
We're just want four
Um,
and two, and then 2-2 against the 2-0 against your Colts. 2-1 the AFC South. All we can really like ask for at this point. Easier said than done. We don't know what the game will look like this coming Sunday, but history tells you, I think we got this.
are you gonna be at the game?
Yeah, of
Sunday?
course, of
Okay,
course.
I'll be
Yeah,
there. I'll be there.
yeah. I know. So
So
you missed the last one. I don't blame you. Good, thank God.
and
You know.
yeah, if I saw the
Oh,
Texans be
tailgate.
live,
I think it's gonna be like 50-degree tailgate as well Sunday. I
I'm
can
gonna
wear.
try. I'm gonna try to get there earlier, but I don't have to. I'll see what I bust out to this
It's a
game.
beautiful game. 76-56 according to my phone this Sunday. I'll probably be rocking the quarter zip. I'm gonna be rocking this probably. Probably out. We'll see what the hat will look like. I just always kind of match what the Jaguars were wearing on the field. Like if it's
I need to get
teal,
more hats.
yeah,
I
teal
need to
and black.
get a teal hat next because I have a white hat and this black bucket, obviously. But
Yeah, I
I
love
need
the
to get a teal
teal
hat.
variant from our boys at DTWD Originals, but I have all three variants, the all black, the white on black, and the teal on black lid. It's just like it's the best. They're the best.
We'll see,
Um
man. I'm just excited. If anybody, wants to go tailgate with your favorite podcast host, but if anyone wants to go tailgate with us, we'll be out there.
we'll be at the
Um,
slab. We always are. It's just, fantastic. Fantastic stuff. And it's gonna be
yes,
76 degree to go kick off too. So like this is gonna be a beautiful day for football. Be there, please. Jaguars also show up. We do not want another home loss. So make it right. That's all it was always hey, you dropped two, fine. It happens. You came back with two, fantastic. Bring us one too. We want one before the bye week. This is our last home game before the bye week. Let's get one here in Jacksonville before then. It's only gonna get tougher from here too. So
that was the home. That was really the time to just try to get on the bye. We'll get to the bye on a hot streak, so we'll see. I'm just hoping for good vibes because even obviously last tailgate was great. I didn't carry over to the game.
mhm.
This time it'll be less terrible weather, and probably not as many opposing fans. 'Cause I feel like a lot of Colts fans are going to be like some Colts fans are still going to go to the games,
Yeah,
but the
but
ones that
usually AFC South games, there's not really a bunch of the opposing fans. It's usually going to be all teal and black in the crowd.
I will see. I'm just really excited. I just I know I'm excited. I'm just thinking about like the tailgate. Like I'm just like I'm so ready.
Yeah, no, this is crazy though. What a couple weeks all away from Jacksonville could do. Like we even
A
said it when
couple
they,
weeks and a couple wins. Not even
yeah,
just that. Like not
yeah,
only were we away from the team, but they're able to in two in a row, like get everybody hyped.
and
After that,
reinvigorated again. Yeah, after that shambolic opening. I don't know if it's
I'm
just a September weather. It's just there's just something about 80, 90 degree, 90, there's like 100 degrees on the field, like that will do for the Jaguars. I don't know. Now we got two wins back. They're gonna be back here. I think, like I said, first thing you say, hey, you haven't won for our fans yet. Let's change that again. Let's change that Sunday.
just tailgate happens as always. Might make another batch, bring that to the tailgate. Um, we'll see. I don't know, man. Now that the air was back pointing up again, I'm ready to get my
Mhm.
hopes let down. But
Oh no.
maybe the Jags, maybe I don't know. I mean, maybe this is the week the offense starts to really start clicking. I mean, we saw a sneak peek of it, so
hmm
fingers crossed. But at the same time, when it is an AFC South opponent,
Can
everything
never
is
let
on
you,
the
yeah.
table.
Can never let your guard down. Never. Not in this league.
Especially versus a former quarterback who really wants to beat his old team. So
A lot of storylines. AAC for the AC South, sole possession.
I'm wondering who even was still like outside of like Smoot and Josh, like who on defense would actually
Devon.
played with. I
Hmm?
mean, like a little bit. I don't think he'll be back though. Unfortunately, still haven't
Yeah,
heard about
probably not.
Hamilton. I mean, like it's just so funny because like he was on the team for 2 years, and almost like none of, not even just the defensive players, most of the offensive players too, just weren't on the team when Gardner was there, which is kind of, I mean, it's good obviously
Yeah,
because
because we
we
need
were
that full,
very
like,
bad.
yeah. Just a
Like
full
it's
retooling of everything.
like I'm just trying to think to close, like who would other players were on the Jags during that time frame? Because he was Garner's on the team like what 2020, 2021.
Hmm. Yeah.
I mean, technically he was in the training camp for like 2022 because he didn't get traded until midseason. So like
Yeah. So
he was in the
Cam,
building
yeah.
with Trevor. Like it's not like he doesn't know who Trevor is. Like he was in the building with
Yeah,
him.
he was the kind of his mentor before he
They were
got
in training
moved. Yeah.
camp together. So
Yeah.
oh my god, I forgot that was the thing. Thank you, Urban Meyer, for splitting reps.
Just oh my God, man.
But yeah, even
Well,
like I, that's just so funny, but also like a good thing to show like how far we've gotten. So maybe Josh Allen will get a sack on Minshew to,
I mean, he
really
got three first game against the Colts. He's gonna want to get another multi-game sack. He always plays them well for whatever reason. So can't think that he can't get at
should
least
have
one
had a
sack.
sack this game, but what do
Trayvon,
I
man,
know?
also get a game for yourself too. One of the edge rushers, all of them. Shit. Just chase on if you're there. I mean, hello.
Uh,
Hello. Come on.
is this the sack guru game? And by sack guru game, I mean he gets
A
more
pressure.
than one sack in
A
his.
pressure.
Literally, he literally just gets like 1.5 sacks, and that's a career
Or
game
even a
for him.
half sack, just far away.
I honestly, the crazy thing is because it's an AFC South game, Chase on having like 3 sacks in a blowout win would not the Jags could score like 45 points versus the Colts, and Chase on having 3 sacks would be the first. That would be the most surprising thing that entire game. Like Calvin Ridley could go off for like 5 touchdowns. Trevor Lawrence 5 touchdown. Ridley goes like 200. The first thing I see is Caleb on Chase on 3.5 sacks. I'm like, if
Hey,
you are
we all have
listening,
hopes and dreams. Hey man, I want to date with one of Megan the Stallion or hell both since we're talking about Caleb on Jason getting a multi-sack game. I'll do a date at the same time with every woman in my dreams. Like we all have hopes and dreams, man. Chase on hopefully we keep winning so the Jaguars feel more inclined to make that home run move for trade before the deadline, like we've been talking about for a bit for an edge rusher. But hey, well, it's okay. We're off a win. But we want
Smoot
to
game
keep
next
stacking
week
it up.
though.
Yeah, for sure, man.
So we'll see how Smoot looks live. Hopefully, obviously coming off the Achilles. I hope he's not washed, but
It's gonna be a limited snap count, probably maybe 20 at most, I'm guessing. So we'll
do
see
you
what the
think
Jack.
do you think they put him at edge or like inside more?
I mean, they like him a lot inside too, so I wouldn't be surprised if they have him go up against, slower guards, I guess. But wherever they feel comfortable with, they did kind of struggle a bit last yesterday, trying to get edge pressure. So just maybe kicking Trayvon inside and having Smoot try to attack the strong side and have Josh Allen to try to go from the blind side sacks again. Probably seems like the move if I were Mike Caldwell, but they probably feel comfortable with this. A multitude of sets, passing, rushing, rushing the passer this coming Sunday.
Guess is if they use Smoot at all, he might see like I don't know, maybe like 30% of the snaps. I'm just curious, like, do they view him as like, do they want to get like just a pure rotation? Like, because I know obviously, like when they put Josh and Trevon in and they sell those guys out, it'll usually both be Abdullah and Chase on in. I'm just wondering, is he just going to replace one of those two? I mean, hopefully 45. But like if they just put one of those two guys in, or just Smoot kind of like sub in with the starters too, like do they try to get creative? Because this is his first game back, I don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
That's to me is like one thing I'm really looking to see is how they utilize him. Because are they going to just put Josh and Smoot outside, and is just Trevon getting a breather to keep him fresh, or is he going to go inside? Is
Mm-hmm.
Smoot going to be playing 3 tech for Trevon? Just I'm really curious because Smoot has a lot of versatility himself. How they want to utilize him? Is he just going to be like a backup? Keep letting those guys get a little bit more of a breather is really my question. So I'm very curious. We'll see, but good to have him back. It's always been. I think like for what he was, like that.
Mm-hmm.
One of Dave's better picks. Obviously, I think Ngakwe had like the higher ceiling, but in terms of just kind of reliability. I mean, Smoot's not the pass rusher Ngakwe is, but he also can hold up against the run a lot better.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
he's like a very solid, good rotation edge to have that also was like homegrown. Good story. I still remember the story of like when he delivered his wife's baby at home.
Oh yeah.
So, he's a standout guy. Glad to see him back. Hopefully he stays healthy, balls out. So that's one play I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, and just a tremendous guy. Just a lot of love for him, and from like the front office to the coaching staff to its fellow players. Just a tremendous guy. So you want everything good for Smoot, especially whenever he gets back on the field. Hopefully this Sunday. Just another piece the defensive line.
Yeah, man. I mean, just we'll see how once Smoot is back, they decide to tweak more changes. They're like, okay, do we still need another edge? I mean, probably because you can never have enough in the
You
NFL.
know, hey, they made a move at the deadline last year for Calvin Ridley. I feel like, not Dave, but Trent is just he can take the L if he needs to. And I think, if he was like hopefully 6-2 right around the bye week, that's when you think, shit, I think we gotta get that home run move to get even better. They never stop trying to get better. They're willing to take the L if they can. So
We'll see. Because I remember just last year, the biggest need, was that alpha receiver, and then they traded for it at the deadline. So, they were very prudent on where they needed to upgrade, and
mhm.
they made the right choice because in an alternate universe we could have had Jacksonville Jaguar Chase Claypool,
Mhm.
which so shout out to them for really instead.
And it's
But
funny too, because we were already remember every time a receiver made a drop, even after, but really will make that catch next season. He made that catch this season. So it's just like, and now it just seems like time to like see where they can go from there, and then just kind of seeing if they can make another move. Because we've seen that Balky is willing to do that if he feels like, you know, he's willing to take the L because there's been a lot of L's for some draft picks we've had so far, for this era. But hey, it's not the important positions, not the quarterback, not the running back, not Ridley. Hey, let's go 4-2. Want to talk about anything else before we get out of here today?
um, I guess real quick. I mean, I think we covered a good base of topics.
Yeah, Bills
Um,
game, we're just buzzing. Colts game, but you're nervous. I'm like, bro, we're fucking beating their ass. We're beating their ass.
we're
We're
one
beating their
side.
ass.
Is there
There's no
any like random football story we could talk about? I'm just trying to think. What else
Oh,
could we get for the people?
Ruari. Our shout out to our boy Ruari. I had him in a Jags league. I put up over 238 points on him in fantasy football. I thought that I don't think I'll ever, ever, ever have that many points in fantasy football again.
What was your lineup?
Yeah, that 234, 66, and I still have Josh Jacobs tonight in
Oh
30
my.
minutes.
Okay. Okay.
So you want me to read you my players and how many
Yeah,
they
just
scored?
we'll just go real quick.
My quarterback Josh Allen, he had 28.76. He had that rushing touchdown at the end that really kind of garbage time points, but hey, it all counts the same in fantasy. Shout out Josh Allen. My second running back besides Josh Jacobson, I says Brees Hall. He had 28 points, 24.8 points. Wide receiver one was Jamar Chase. At 52.2 points with the 3 touchdown game, 15 catch game, 192. Yeah, no, remember he said I'm always fucking open. Well, he was always fucking open yesterday. My wide receiver two was Michael Pittman. He only had 10.2, but that is also has to do with the fact that Anthony Richardson got hurt. My tight end was Sam Laporta, who had 19.7. My flex one out of two was DJ Moore, who had 49 points.
I knew
Yeah,
it.
he had 49 points against the Commanders Thursday night. My second flex was Christian Kirk. He had 14.4. My kicker was Kaimi Fairbairn of the Texans, who had 15 because he had 4 field goals yesterday against the Falcons. That was a waiver move for that week too. So I was like, yeah, Texans love kicking field goals. Let me pick up Fairbairn. And I had the Niners defense who went off against the
Oh
Cowboys last
my
night. So like,
dude,
and guess what? I left Zach Moss on the bench, so
it
it
could
could
have
have
been
been
worse.
even worse for
It could
Roar.
have been worse.
That's like my greatest fantasy performance I'll ever. I probably will never ever top that. That's legit going to be the greatest fantasy performance of all time. That's like
Well,
everything clicked to that one game.
let's hope everyone's watching this. Your fantasy teams are doing good. Not mine. Probably gonna lose in this league.
Next year we got to have a
There's
Jagged Edge
Anthony
league.
Richardson.
Next year had to be
Schultz.
the yeah. We'll have to be in a league together next year for sure. Well, there's like talking fantasy. I fucked up against Eric Dunn because I left Zach Moss on the bench and he had 150 whatever points and I had only
We'll
one.
we'll see. Fun fact, actually, I'm facing Bree in fantasy next week. And literally,
Lovers
like
quarrel,
she
man.
she owns like I own Ridley and Kirk in the league, and she owns Zay Jones and Evan Ingram.
Oh, that's
So we're
funny.
just
That's
gonna be so like I hope Trevor Lawrence, if you're
spreads
watching
the
this,
ball out. Spread it all out to
if
everyone.
you just want to have like
Oh no.
200 yards to Ridley and 100 to Kirk and Zay. Dude, I feel like that's why this is also like equally hilarious game because
Yeah.
like Zay Jones, I'm gonna be the one like Jags could be up like a huge touchdown, like Zay Jones 80-yard bomb, and we could be up by like 14. I'm just gonna be like so mad that he
You're like,
got
yeah,
it.
oh no. But
I'm just
remember,
gonna be
we don't
like,
know how Zay is because he left the game too toward the end of that game, so he could be hurt
is
again
he
or
gonna throw more
something.
to Ingram though?
Yeah, you're right. It's just more targets to Evan Ingram though.
Oh my! If Ridley and Kirk combined for like 6 catches, and then Evan Ingram has like a 13 catch, 200-yard four performance, I'm just going to be in the stand, just like trying to fight back
But would you
tears.
rather not be in the doghouse,
I mean,
waiting, eating brie?
I'd rather see that game
Yeah,
live, even if it hurts
yeah,
me, because
yeah.
I remember his big game last year that won me a league was versus his game he had versus the Titans. I
Hmm.
literally he was my highest scorer in a league that I went to the playoffs in. Maybe it's karma, and he's gonna have a big game against me to
But
spite me.
hey, it's Jags W's all them. And like ETN, hey, I played against myself in fantasy. It's like, fuck, I had 36 points today. Ah, hell nah. I'd
I'll
be so
I'll
upset too.
I'll take it, man. But
Yeah.
we'll talk. We'll see the Jags. Just
We get
6
to
more
see
days
I get
till
to see
this
your
greatest
beautiful
revenge
face
game.
again. Yeah, well, I got to see your beautiful face again. All that matters. I know my Bree is gonna listen to that. I'd be like, hey, hey. So hey, I got to see all you beautiful faces again Sunday. And oh my god, please get our first home win of the season. The last 2 home games were miserable. Make up for it. That's all I said. Hey, we're gonna forgive you if you get us another win against the Colts. It's like, it's Groundhog Day. It's happened again.
Keep the streak going. That the fact about the Colts not winning since the Obama administration is the funniest thing ever, and I
Mhm.
want to use it until the day I die. So please,
Exactly.
Colts, you know what? Please, Jags, you know what to do. And
Yeah,
Colts, you come to Jags to lose.
exactly.
All right, my good
It's
man.
like why we keep losing to the Texans. Why? Why do we be beating the Colts? We'll never. Why do we own Buffalo? Why do we own the Steelers at Heinz Field? I don't know. It's just sacrilege for this many times. It's just let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Time to beat that old quarterbacks beating a streak too. It's another streak on the line. It's either the streak that we keep beating Indianapolis, or it's the our old quarterbacks doing well against us. So hey, maybe we beat Josh Dobbs last year, but he really didn't get any snaps when he was here on the roster. So hey. All right. Like, do you want to talk about anything? I went on a fantasy football tangent. What
I
about you?
think I think that's all. We'll see. I'm just excited, man. Go Jags.
Go Jags, man. Hey, I get international break, but the Magic kick off preseason tomorrow. So hey, preseason basketball too, if it really means anything. But hey, I'm excited just to see my guys back on the court too. Love that. Sports are in full motion, man. Jags 3-2. I get my Magic back. Newcastle, PSG victory last week. Absolutely, like how
Italian
the
and
fuck?
bedbug.
Yeah.
Italian and bedbug.
Killian and Peckbug. That is such a crazy insult, especially with the news in France recently too. Like, how the fuck does that happen? Uh, I hate to admit, I had to deal with dead bed bugs before. It is the absolute worst, man.
Is
So
is he just scratching?
yeah, I think so. He's
Okay,
scratching
I need
himself
to.
doing
It's
that.
time for me to get off this pot. I'm too on edge.
Oh man, I had fun. I thank you for waking me up my nap for this. It was much needed. We had
You
to
got
celebrate a win together. Exactly. Need
shout out
to
Victory Monday.
Yeah, I guess yep, this is the my Gareth Bale impersonation. But hey, love you, Javal. Love you if you're still watching. God love I love
To
you too.
all to all
Yeah,
the to all the fans who are still watching still listening for some reason. I don't know why we're doing that to yourself, but we thank you anyways for supporting our foolishness.
exactly. Because this is a lot of fun. I mean, when it's always a lot better when the Jaguars win. It's just a lot more fun to talk about. It wasn't like
It wasn't.
me
It
in the tank
wasn't.
top, me in the tank top for 90 seconds being all sad and
It
depressed. I
wasn't
don't want
fun.
that anymore. I don't want that anymore, man. You saw the state of me. Out of work, how
It's
shit. I
not
gotta
fun
upload
when you
something.
allow fullback touchdowns, but it's
Oh, it's good content. Don't get me wrong. It's hilarious, but like, bro, not never again. Please, Jaguars.
all right. Well, I'll see you in person Sunday.
First home win coming. Please, God, please, Jaguars, please, Doug, please. I gotta stop saying Dave. Just too much PTSD. You're right of the bad years. But love you, Javal. Love you, anyone to watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you for the next one. Have a good night, Javal.